or we could make the announcement.
Now let's go. Kevin Holland 302.
Okay,
let's dive right into that.
Okay,
breaking news.
Well, no, that's not breaking news.
That wasn't breaking news.
No, well, that was breaking news. No, that wasn't.
That's exactly what it was.
It wasn't breaking news. It was breaking arm.
But it was breaking news in the way that it was done.
So a lot of people are torn on this. And
I'm torn on this.
Because I'm big on, and Joe, Knockout JoJo will be here next week, and, I remember giving him crap about holding on too long, to a submission and blah, 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 and, I had an issue with somebody else from our gym, and I was pretty upset about it, and we talked about it, and I said, until that ref comes and puts his hand on you, you don't stop. But once he does, you stop. Well, no hands were put on Kevin Holland.
None.
And from what I understand, thanks to Frontier Airlines, I wasn't there in attendance and I couldn't see it live. He kind of looked up like, do I really need to break it?
He said it.
Right.
Yeah, he audioed it.
Right.
Like he was so much in control that he was able to have a conversation with the ref while still controlling the man's arm and posture and body. There was no reason for him to go through and break it. There was no reason for Michal to go through that pain of now surgery and repair and tendons, and who knows if he'll ever come back the same fighter now because of this injury.
But isn't that on him and not on Kevin Holland?
Well,
isn't that on the ref, not on Kevin Holland?
Well, yes.
Kevin Holland doesn't stop.
He can't.
Because it has happened before.
You let go and you lose.
And then you lose. And then something could...
So he couldn't. He was it was a rock and a hard place. He couldn't make a good decision. Herb Dean should have stopped it voluntarily. He should have stepped in and prevented the fighter from endangering himself. That's what a referee signs up to do. At times when the fighter's not able to protect himself, you stop and protect the fighter from himself, from his own decisions. Because a lot of that is pride from when the sport started. These guys will go out on their shield. And from some of these countries where you come from, it's a badge of honor, a manhood thing.
Well, remember Roberto Duran, no mas. And no mas was, he's a wuss.
Right. I mean, because you have to live with the identity of who you are in the world after your fighting career is over. And if you quit or you tap or you make this a sport like it is now, if you don't go to this level, you don't show your bravery. Or at least that's what the mindset was in the beginning of combat sports. Now we know that these guys have families and careers and futures and longevity. So it's a sport for them now. It's a career now. It's a job now. But you don't have to go through this kind of life-altering injury just for a sense of pride or for a badge of honor, because I think more people saw it as sad that he had to go through that than cheered that he was such a brave warrior.
And even though this is a different, me always looking at it in another side, this could, I don't know how much anybody knows Kevin Holland, so it may not, but it could affect him as well.
For sure.
He didn't want to do that. But he had to keep fighting. And I get that he's not going to let it go.
And I would say it's even worse for a guy like Kevin because he has a reputation of being a Superman, of going out in real life and saving people from aggressors or things that are going on in the real world, and has put his real life in danger to save lives. So when you have a compassion of people and care about the world and society, and you're forced to be in this situation now, it absolutely will affect Kevin.
Yeah. So it's a shame. It's a no-win. We'll be out in Las Vegas at the end of the month. I'm going to ask some people off the record, some things. And who's right, who's wrong? Is there a right? Is there a wrong?
When you ask things off the record, how often does it not make it? How often does it make it on the record?
Never.
Because everybody gossips.
Never.
Right?
Never.
When you say it, it's
Never.
gone.
Yes.
When you say off the record, it automatically is traveled.
Yeah, but not by me.
Right.
So if I ask the people that I'm going to ask, so at least I'll know, and nobody will know who I talk to. So I might be able to say, while I was in Las Vegas, blah, 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 but I would never, say who I talked to. I would never do that.
That's why the locker rooms embrace you the way they do. It's why the fighters embrace you the way they do, because they know your loyalty, you'll never say. But have you ever made a mistake in your career where you made a mistake and said too much?
No.
Really? Never?
No.
Not one year you regretted?
There's something I regretted.
Yeah?
But it's not, maybe it is that. So I asked a player back when I used to do the Players Show, who I thought was a friend of mine, would you come to do the show? And
More like an okie dokie?
And he said yes. No, he's more than an okie dokie. He was more than an okie dokie. And then another player who was much more than an okie dokie to me came and told me, he goes, so-and-so's not going to show. So I'll come and do it if you'd like. He might have even have told me don't tell him.
Okay.
And I think I did.
Oh.
Because I'm like, really? You were going to throw me out? And then, so okie dokie was mad at me, and more than okie dokie was mad at me. But that's probably the only time I ever did that.
Wow. That's great.
Well, I just thought it was awful that, a friend, more, okie dokie-ish.
Because in media, it's all about clickbait. It's all about being first to publish, first to report, like breaking news, like from the desk of, and so if you get inside information and you don't report it and you know it's going to come out. I mean, how many times that happens to you?
All the time.
Daily.
All the time. All the time.
I mean, daily.
I knew a lot of stuff. And, it's from friendships of hanging out with, there's groups of people, especially at the UFC and at Bellator, that, I would hang out with. We'd go out and eat, we'd go do the tours and stuff together. So I would find stuff out. But if they tell me off the record and they know it's off the record, then it's off the record. And
anybody ever lied to you and they told you something that was confidential and then that come out in the media that it was completely different?
I don't even know. Because I don't read other people's stuff. I don't listen to other people's stuff. So I don't know what has come out. Now, there have been times when I've known and then it comes out. I'm like, damn.
Now, when it comes to integrity, okay, well, your integrity, right?
There's a commercial about integrity. Have you heard those commercials?
No.
Where they do this whole spiel like Francis Scott Key wrote the Star Spangled Banner, and then it's
From
like
jail.
From 20, it's like 20 seconds long, and they go, "There's something that was in there that was incorrect. We here at Integrity take integrity serious."
Well, didn't he write that in jail?
I don't know.
They don't talk about that part.
I wasn't.
Because the society says, if you go to jail, you're not valuable.
Speaking of jail,
a loser. But
speaking
our
of
anthem came from jail.
Speaking of jail, it appears Wallen is retiring from football, from the NFL.
Really?
Yeah, tight end, came from the Raiders, went to the Jets. And the reason I bring that up, because people are like, what Wallen, I don't know anything about Wallen has done it. His grandfather wrote I believe it was the lyrics to Ain't Misbehavin' in prison.
Wow.
If you remember.
Okay.
Because he was supposed to do the show.
Waller, is that his name? Fats Waller, the jazz musician? This is his grandfather, right? Yeah. He stood us up.
I know that.
We had lunch with him.
Yeah, we had lots of lunch.
Yeah, we had a lot of
305. We had 305.
We had a great time. We had a great time. He was supposed to come. I was going to get a Waller jersey. I was a fan. Then he stood us up.
Were you with us when we went and saw him the next year?
But didn't we see him the Pro Bowl?
Well,
no, I didn't go in L.A. No.
I think it was L.A. where Steve. No, I think it was Steve, John, and I. We went to a Super Bowl event for like Boys and Girls Club or something like that, and they were like doing the yard and cleaning it up, and we purposely went there just so I could say, "Hey, dude, you still owe us a show."
Yeah,
we're still sitting in Miami.
We should call him. We should get him on the show.
Well, he'll have a lot of free time here coming up soon.
Yeah, come in the studio. But going back to the integrity part, there's a strategy in MMA that I'm not a fan of. I know it's legal. I know you can cover the mouth to obstruct airway, to exhaust your opponent when you're on top of them and smother them to where, it gives them an advantage to hopefully finish the fight. But I think it's a little ticky-tack. I mean, I think it's a little like your okie dokie. I think it's a little cheap. I think if you get a win that way, I think if you have to win that way, I don't think it gives you as much credibility or gives you as much status as like if you actually beat them with your skill set. And your thoughts?
My thoughts would be this. Unfortunately, it would depend on who it is.
What?
No, not for me. No, for me, I'm okay with it. If it's not against the rules, it's like Kevin Hackney back in the day with the groin strikes. It was legal. So he did it. Yeah. And a lot of people look down on him. But what I'm saying is, and I'm almost sure of this, that there is I believe he's in the UFC Hall of Fame now, who did that. Okay? But because it was him, nobody said a word. If somebody else were to do it, lower down the okie dokie list, now it's a problem. So let's be consistent, first of all. If it's not against the rules,
you're okay with it.
I'm okay with it.
Do you like it as a strategy? If you were in the corner, if you were the coach, if you had a fighter, would you say as a strategy, hey, when you're on top, smother them with your glove?
If it's not against the rules and it benefits my fighter, it's about winning, right? And it's legal. It's legal.
Yeah, but aren't there like ways of winning like that aren't with integrity? Like, do you think it's like the same feeling?
I think grabbing a fence is worse than covering the mouth.
Yeah, because it gives you
Well, it's against the rules. It's against the rules to grab the fence. Yes.
I see what you're saying.
And yes, it can stop a takedown. It can do a lot of things, but
it changes the fight.
It does change the fight, and as does covering the mouth.
Yeah.
But one is illegal, and the other's legal, whether you like it or not.
So what's the solution to the finger grab, the fence grab?
The John Jones knee thing that he does, which they've been trying to ban, and people want it banned, and because of the damage it does, it's legal.
Yeah.
And as long as it's legal, you're not breaking the rules. Breaking the rules. So what were you saying?
So what about the Michal Pedroia, somersault flying knee, on an opponent? Is that a legal move?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because it's a backflip onto a downed opponent, and it strikes and it lands. Right? Well, that may not be intentional because you don't know if it's going to connect, but more times than not, it's connecting. So he's mastered that art.
My question is it illegal? Is it illegal?
Yeah, it's a downed opponent. Striking a downed opponent in any way. Whether you poke them or kick them or knee them or flying backflip on top of them.
Well, no, I think you can kick a down opponent. You just can't kick him in the head.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Right?
But if the knee strikes the head and they're down, then it's illegal.
Then it's illegal.
But he got a victory last time for it.
My brain can't take all this. So with that, let's hit our 15-minute break. Coming to you live.
Let's watch the replay during the break.
All right, we'll watch the replay. Bottom of the hour, Puna is going to be on. We're going to talk about this weekend's Apex card, UFC on ESPN. And we may even mention somebody that was once involved with Fox TV and Sirius XM. That news coming up as well.